Funding now on Indiegogo, it's Shadowbinders, our second chance offer to get 2 hardcovers of our classic webcomic delivered to your door. Steampunk, fantasy, and romantic comedy from Clownfish Comics. Go to Indiegogo, check out the link in the description below. Now on with the video. Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And the sun will come out for the High Republic tomorrow.
That's right, the two suns.
The two suns, the twin
suns
suns.
will come out tomorrow. They hope people love them tomorrow.
I don't know, guys. There's definitely some damage control going on. You've been sending me some links.
If not, it's because you hate gays.
Oh, don't bring Lando into this. Don't bring Lando into this.
Go ahead.
Anyway, yeah, so we know what's going on Twitter. There's all kinds of drama about Star Wars fandom and Reylos and all this nonsense going on Twitter right now. That's one side of it. The other side of it seems to be that Lucasfilm and story group people and people involved with the High Republic are trying to do damage control in the PR space.
It is definitely going on, yes.
Yeah, because they're like, hey guys, Yoda's not such a bad guy anyway, because there's this article put out there a couple months ago on Screen Rant that they were going to nerf Yoda. They were going to make him responsible for all the bad things that happened in the galaxy.
Yeah, that basically before he became Grandmaster, you could see from the High Republic that people were allowed to have relationships and all kinds of things, but because he made it stricter rules, that led to Anakin and Padme and what happened, he became Vader and the Empire and blah, 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 blah. It's all Yoda's fault.
It's all Yoda's fault. And Yoda just doesn't want anybody to get any because his doesn't work anymore because he's
green with envy.
He's green with envy, that's right.
Or syphilis, we don't know.
Oh,
that's why. Maybe that's why he doesn't allow it.
Maybe Yoda got a lot of booty back in the day.
I don't know, but that was a Screen Rant article, which led to a lot of backlash. So now here comes damage control.
Yeah, and it's not just, look, the High Republic, the amount of damage done to this damn stupid multimedia, transmedia franchise.
Well, the transmedia part is, I think, what's doing them in as every bit as much as, their constant, harassment of fans.
Yeah, it's definitely damaging the entire Star Wars brand. We're going to talk about that and them having to walk it back. And I'm going to be honest. I think this thing is going to die on the vine. This is a personal opinion. I could be wrong. I think it's going to die in the vine within a year, and I think you're going to find these books in Ollie's for next to nothing. And they're going to sit there and collect dust for another 5 years because nobody seems interested in this shit.
People don't care. I mean, for no other reason than a lot of people just don't read the books and the comics. And this whole push, everything they're doing is making this story across books and comics. And we're not talking just like young adult books, kids books, whatever. They're like, and then you want the story. Each has a little piece you have to read. Like, I mean, people aren't going to want to read all that stuff.
No, this never works. Like, the reason the Zahn trilogy worked is it was a self-contained story arc that came after a drought. Years of no Star Wars.
Nothing.
Yeah, years of no Star Wars. And it was like, oh my God, they're going to make new Star Wars.
But people read more back then.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, I was there.
Yeah. I was there too.
I know, I'm just saying. They were trying to argue, well, what do you know? It's like, well, because I was there.
I remember the posters in the comic shop windows and being completely floored because I walked by, I'm like, Star Wars. So like, new Star Wars trilogy books are coming. I'm like, wait, get new Star Wars? New Star Wars.
Yeah, I was very excited.
I was like, what? And then I kept thinking that that's what the next movies were going to be. I'm like, oh, they're going to do the books first and then they're going to make more movies.
They would have had a lot better movies.
They would have. They had a chance. They could have gotten the gang back together in the 90s or early 2000s even and done it right. Anyway. Missed opportunity. We're going to talk about the damage control being done to the High Republic. And it's not good, guys. And especially on YouTube, it's not good. So before we get into it, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We're over 183,000 subs. Thank you for the support. 183,000 stormtroopers just trying to take over the galaxy.
That's right, because they're all just, the
bad people.
Yeah.
The bad people. So we're going to talk about the damage control being done here in regards to the Yoda situation. But let's just take a look. Let's take a look at Star Wars numbers on Social Blade.
Oh, look at this. No subscribers the last 30 days. 4 million is what it's down for videos. And that's with people watching it just to downvote it.
Yeah, so here's the thing. This is the official Star Wars YouTube channel owned by Lucasfilm, owned by Disney. It has 3.5 million subscribers. It's been online since 2005, when YouTube first started. They're lucky if they can pull 100,000 views in a day.
And a lot of these are people just coming in to downvote.
Yeah, I mean, you don't understand how bad this is. Like, on a bad day, we get more views than the official Star Wars channel.
You like to say that a lot.
I'm trying to put this in perspective.
No,
I'm just saying. I'm putting this in perspective for a reason, not to brag, because we're not a big channel. I'm just saying, when the official Lucasfilm YouTube channel with 3.5 million subscribers gets less than a smallish YouTube channel with 183,000 subscribers, and we love all of you, by the way. I'm just saying. That is not good. That is that is not good. Like, I don't know what line of shit they're feeding the numbers people at Disney.
Yeah, because they should be looking at this and being like, what?
But this is catastrophic. Like, your channel has completely atrophied because a lot of people, like you said, they're coming in just to downvote. I
kind of wonder what would happen to their views a day if people just stopped downvoting.
If they stop, I don't know. But here we have another new video on Star Wars. March 18th, almost 9,000 downvotes compared to 1.8 thousand upvotes. And that is catastrophic. I mean, I'm sorry. There's no other way to spin it. Like, if I were Disney, I would be shitting bantha poodoo right now, because I'd be like, this is worse. This is worse than where Star Wars was after The Last Jedi. Mm-hmm. And it's all, again...
Oh, yeah, it's definitely worse.
The vast majority, Gina Carano. Gina Carano. And like you said, if you took away the views, probably half of the views on their channel are people coming in and downvoting. On a channel with 3.5 million. Like, you have destroyed this brand on YouTube. And YouTube, we know how vital it is to brands now to have a YouTube presence. Mm-hmm. And it's completely destroyed. Yeah,
and you really have no one to blame but yourselves. But, but back to the whole thing that this guy, so now he's on damage control.
Yeah.
And they basically got Kevin Scott, who does the comics, to come on here to talk about, they interviewed him, and over the course, and of course, like any, self-respecting pop culture blog, they have to take the whole interview and break it up over several different articles, to get as much out of it as they can.
It's like the local newspaper. Local newspaper, they'll take like a school board meeting and they will break it up into like 5 parts instead of reporting the whole thing at once, because they want you to buy the paper every day.
So you get like a few paragraphs a day, which is really annoying, and I hate it. But so that's what they're going to do here. But basically, they were talking about Yoda and, the fact that people were like, worried about Yoda. And they're talking about, the trilogy, the prequel ends with Yoda's literal and figurative falling from grace, because Sidious and all the other stuff, and goes on about Yoda and all the, and, people being concerned about Yoda. And they're talking about that. And then they mentioned about how, the Force is seen in different people through they tap into different ways, because they're, that's the new thing they're doing is one of them sees it as music, one of them sees it as whatever. And honestly, I have no problem with that, because that makes sense that different beings would see it differently. So that I don't have an issue with. But here's the talk about Yoda. So yeah, there's been a lot of discussion about Yoda online and Yoda's part and the High Republic and the sense that Yoda is somehow to blame for what's happened. But I don't think we ever said that. I don't think we ever would, because that's not what we believe. And we spent a lot of time talking about Yoda. Yoda has cast a very long shadow for such a small being. And every time Yoda's in a scene, he's the most important person in that scene. So we've been very careful how we treated Yoda. That's a nice change. And tried very much to treat him with respect. Unlike we did with Luke and Admiral Akbar and other characters.
Well, you can shove your hand up Yoda's ass and he's not going to complain.
Right. But
he's easy to work with.
I'm just saying, we're going to treat him with respect, and he's always important. He's central to everything we do, because we always think about it from his point of view. And it's like, you had Luke and you ruined him. And Lucasfilm they made Akbar die off screen in a punk ass way. I'm just like,
we as fans expect the worst from Lucasfilm under Disney ownership, because you've literally fucked up all of our heroes.
And then after they had the Akbar guy go, "It's a wrap."
Yeah, and he said he was like crying inside the suit. He was so
I can't
heartbroken.
imagine.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
imagine how that person felt. So, but we respect Yoda.
You don't respect anything when it comes to Star Wars. What are you talking about? This is what fans know. Like, yeah, when somebody says, "Oh, hey, guess what, guys? We got a hot tip," and this didn't come from an alt-right YouTube channel. It came from freaking Screen Rant.
Oh, that one about Yoda, yeah.
Yeah. When they said, "Hey guys, on the down low, they're gonna completely screw up Yoda too."
It's all his fault. Ha ha ha. And I think Screen Rant is probably taking victory lap, like, ha ha, fans eat it. And then now they're like, shit. And then it goes on. Yoda is in a slightly different position in the High Republic. He's on the council, but has decided to take a bit of a sabbatical from that and is teaching Padawans, which is what we know he loves doing. So there is also a sense that when Yoda isn't there, the rest of the Jedi, our Jedi we've created, are going to say, like, I wish Yoda was here, because they all still look to him and there's a familiarity with them. And Yoda, because he's their peer in a lot of ways, but he's also their master. He's more trained in some way.
You can't say that.
He's also a master. He's more trained in some way or another than most of these people, because let's face it, even though he's in the High Republic and we keep talking about young Yoda, he's still quite old and he's been around for a very long time. Teaching all the Jedi we've created. No, I mean, come on, be fair. You move on to anything, even the expanded universe, you have to make new characters, new Jedi. So, I mean,
yeah,
that's a given. I mean, I don't think anybody ever thought they were never going to make new characters ever. You know?
Yeah, but these Jedi are going to be the best Jedi. They're going to be the best at everything they do.
They're very, like, I don't know, bland. It's kind of like the food at Disney sometimes. If you go to the restaurants that are, you're laughing, but if you go like to the restaurants that are like the quick service ones especially, and you order stuff, it's like sometimes the food can be very, very samey or bland because they're trying to appeal to a bunch of different types of people and their dietary tastes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of people will eat it but it's not the best ever because it's kind of bland. And that's what this kind of reminds me of. It's like we're trying to make up for all the shit we did. So let's just try to make it that shit everyone will like or eat or something.
But it's still shit.
Right.
I mean, I'd rather eat spicy shit than bland shit.
I just, well, it's gonna get spicier. He said
rocks and sex, yeah.
No.
Oh.
And then in the other article, he's talking about how it's gonna be big. It's all big now, guys. Here comes the big parts. That was just the warm up. That was just the foreplay. Here comes the big part. Here comes the big one.
Force play.
The big one's coming. So,
gotta make sure you're good and ready for it, because it's gonna hurt otherwise.
What was the Star Wars penis again? What was his name?
Claude.
Claude's coming, guys. So,
and you will too.
So, he told him in the podcast that the first wave was a teaser of what's an appetizer, if you will, of what's to come. Sorry.
It's whetting your appetite.
So he's like, oh, we got this person and that person, and name drop this book and name drop that book. And it's going to be multiple stories. He wrote one for younger readers and one for older readers and one for whatever. And this, because, everybody has to read all of it. The funny thing is that we've already had this wave of titles, but this really is the James Bond pre-title sequence. Well, that's an awful bad pre-title. That's a letdown there, man. Everybody looks forward to the James Bond pre-title sequence.
Yeah, I was just sorry. I was going to make a joke about the slick Sarlacc pit, but now we're talking about James Bond.
It just jumped. You can read the next part, because I feel like I'm hogging this video.
So all of this is just a prologue to potentially, possibly, maybe good Star Wars, but people are already turning on Star Wars. You're not going to get, this is like, you're basically going to get like your trailer for the movie that never comes out.
So this is the trailer, guys. This is the intro trailer.
This is the trailer. You have to buy the trailer.
For now the good stuff's coming after you spend the money on the other stuff. Well, we're gonna read. I don't know what he said here. We're gonna read this. This is a story that we've planned for years and will be going on for years.
No, it won't.
Oh God.
It will not go on for years.
So I think I'm most excited when people start realizing the scope of what we're climbing and the fact that those events we've seen now, they're really only the inciting incident They're only really what kicks off the story. They're not what the story is. This reminds me of all those episodes of shows where the writer's like, look how clever I am. And then because they get so clever and trying to keep you on your toes the whole time that you get bored halfway through because you're tired of you're tired of being in suspense the whole time, that by the time the reveal comes, you don't care.
Yeah.
And it's okay for one episode, but they make the whole series, every episode like that. Moffat, I'm talking to you. That it ends up that you just don't care anymore.
Well, when there's nothing but build up and no release, it can be very frustrating for people. Yes.
But it's just, this is all that money you've spent. This is just the appetizer. We haven't got to the big event that you're going to have to spend more money on, all these books and cross media and all the other shit. And at the end of the day, guys, one of the reasons it's failing, besides the fact they pissed off the fans, is that people don't read this stuff. They don't want to go have to buy books and comics. Show, not tell. Who has time for that shit?
Yeah, this is... I love it. This is going to go on for years. No, it will not.
Yeah.
Disney is going to look at this and be like, what the hell? Now, the initial numbers were pretty okay, but we're starting to see this High Republic stuff flatline because people are like, oh, new Star Wars. Well,
a certain point of view, they tried to spin it too, like from a certain point of view where the ratings were on the New York Times bestselling list, which can easily be cheated. I love this next part. And I can't tell you much more without giving you horrendous spoilers.
Oh.
Why would you use the term horrendous for spoilers? Horrendous spoilers.
Horrendous spoilers. We already know about the plant people. We know about the rock that's preoccupied with sex. What else? What else could you possibly spoil at this point?
Well, it wasn't the rock. It was the person that was flying the vessel.
Oh,
the
yeah.
other chick. The rock was just like, why does it matter? Because I'm just a rock. And I'm asexual because we got to make sure we check that off the list. But there's been a lot of Jedi that we've teased and that we've mentioned along the way with some of the Jedis we've met now. Again, these are only the early days in the story we're going to tell. You can have how many things out? This is just the early days in the story you're going to tell? And so their world is getting to dramatically change. And I can't wait for people to see how.
This reminds me of some webcomics. Let me explain.
Go ahead.
So back when we did webcomics, speaking of which, you can buy the first 2 volumes right now in Indiegogo our webcomic. But there are a lot of people that are like, well, I'm just doing the prequel to this 15-year story arc I have planned out in my head. And I'm like, you're assuming you're going to get the 15 years and have the interest to be able to tell that story. When George Lucas made Star Wars, he focused on making one good movie. Mm-hmm. I mean, he had a basic idea of where things would go if that one good movie did well, but he didn't really plan on there being more movies because it was a huge risk. You guys are taking for granted that this brand has been built up by people like George Lucas, by the fans, and that it's going to continue to last. I'm telling you, as a business person, Disney's going to take a look at the numbers and be like, yeah, this just ain't working for us.
This can't keep going on like this. I can't
No,
think it,
no.
the numbers just aren't there. And then we see the YouTube stuff off a cliff.
Yeah.
And, and then again, interestingly enough, people weren't talking about The Last Jedi anymore. They moved on to The Mandalorian. People didn't like that, so they tried to ruin The Mandalorian. And now they're trying to get everybody talking about The Last Jedi again. And if you don't, we're going to send people that suddenly have these articles, to hit
Yeah, they're going to flag your YouTube channel to get you taken out.
because you need to keep talking about that. But while you're talking about that, you're not talking about Gina Carano. So there's just so much other shit going on. It's just like, I think people are just checking out because they're just like, it's too much. It's just too much.
Yeah, this is dire. I mean, this is just freaking... Like a small YouTuber would be thrilled. I mean, we get, 4 or 5 million a month or whatever, but like this is freaking Star Wars.
How did Iger go from brand fatigue, and we're worried about that, so we might have to, pull back on the movies, not have all the Star Wars stories and all that, and maybe spread them out more, to now we're going to vomit all these books out in the High Republic, and then there's this Star Wars show, and you get a Star Wars show, and you get a Star Wars show, and you get a Star Wars show, and it went from and brand fatigue is setting in, and then instead of being like, well, maybe we got too much going on, maybe we need to separate from the stuff that didn't work and just move on with the new stuff or whatever. It's I know what we can do on top of everybody else being tired of this stuff. Let's go call them names, because that's clearly why they don't like it.
Brilliant idea. Good luck with that. You're just digging the hole deeper. You're pissing on the corpse of Star Wars at this point.
But good luck with that.
Good luck with that. All right, we're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.